there's no winner or loser. It's just someone who will have to suffer more than the other.
We left Vietnam.
War is a terrible thing. I remember in contact they look like the same, like these are the Vietnamese people, just different ideology.
Die one by one.
The Vietnam War was a civil war fought between the North Vietnamese and the South Vietnamese. It started in 1955, and by 1975, the city of Saigon fell to the north. 1.6 million people fled the country in fear of their lives. Of this 1.6 million, 700,000 people became unified, and these brave souls are the Vietnamese boat people.
My childhood in before the war is, I remember that is great. That I don't know nothing about the war.
My father died when I was very young, about 5-6 years old. So I really struggled to survive at a very young age in the fishing village.
My dad was, he was in the army, so, he fought, but luckily, he was a medic. But, he was a POW.
Still in grade school, maybe about 10 years old. And that's when I saw soldier, because my father is in the army. So he's prepared for it, and we saw the gun around the house and a lot of soldiers around my house. I remember that all my friends, the brother, some of them have to go at age of 17, 18. So they for what, maybe a few months, okay, they die because they're not prepared for it. They just send you as a man, a young man of 18 years old. They just send you to just know how to, to shoot with a gun. And we, of course, we all scared. And at night, even though that we go to a small area, when we heard about my father always carry a gun and say, move, go. So 6 of us and my mom, okay, and actually my grandma also that live there. So they all in a small room until about maybe a couple hours, and everything settled out, and then we come out. When I grow up, and until I met him, my husband, and then we left Vietnam.
When the communists took over, when our country collapsed, when Saigon, collapsed, we lost everything. The Viet Cong, they came in and they pretty much took everything. They took all the land, they took our money, they took property. They took everything.
We have reason to leave the country because of the fear of imprisonment, or even death under communist regime.
Pretty much like in the middle of the night, and we had to sneak out of the capital. So my mom told me that, we snuck out of the capital, underneath, hay, on a hay cart. So we paid people to take us out and take us to, to the shores, near my family's farm, because, my mom's family's farm, because one of my her sister's husband was a fisherman. Okay, so luckily he had a fishing boat.
So he said he opened the hatch of the vessel, where they put all the fish inside when they catch the fish. So he open the door, and he tells us to go in there. So the next thing we know that it's very dark. So the next few hours we have more people coming in. So more people in the vessel. So that night we are heading out to the sea.
On the sea, we saw a lot of like a small boat, like fishing boat, with the people, the whole family, and tried to climb up to our ship, and they drop. The people keep dropping, okay, on in the sea.
We were robbed by Thai pirates for another year or so, and we sprung a leak. I mean, this was like, this was a dangerous time, right? We're in the middle of the ocean. I mean, just imagine being in the middle of the ocean, not on a big metal ship like we have now. We're on a rickety wooden fishing boat. So, two of my uncles actually jumped overboard and they swam underneath the boat and somehow, did a quick patch job and got us going again. Soon afterwards, one of my cousins, she's pregnant at the time, but because of all this, traumatic events, being robbed, being in the middle of the sea, no food, no water, she went into labor.
So the boat got stuck in there with 256 people, die one by one because no boat to get in there to help. They don't see any boat around, and they stay there for like about 6 months. They die all of them die, except 26 people. And those 26 people and eating all human meat to survive.
So finally, we saw an oil platform. You know how people drill oil in the ocean? So they have a platform there. So luckily, we saw these people and they show us the way to a nearest island.
We landed at one of the refugee camps in Malaysia, Bidam. So, I mean, when we landed, the first thing that I was told that happened was, all the relatives destroyed the boat because unfortunately, they didn't want us there.
The time there is very nice because we passed all the dangers. So we came there, Taiwanese people very friendly. So they accept us in the refugee camp. Everybody have place to stay, to sleep, and they serve food for us, and they give money every month. So I live 4 months. For me, that time is so nice. US people come there, come to every refugee camp to interview you and to bring you here.
Afterwards, so getting off the island as a refugee, it's a combination of, knowing people, having sponsors, and lottery. Because not everybody got off that island. If you had some kind of connection to the government, you got off quicker. If you had sponsors in the U.S., which fortunately we did, we got out. We got out quicker. And the last word is lottery. We had a hut. That was the best way to describe it. It was a hut. So we had a little, pretty much straw hut. And every week, my dad would go and, receive supplies, which is basically a burlap bag full of canned foods. And we had to make it last. More culture shock than anything else, because, we're used to, it's Vietnam, and it's a whole different world, right?
Difficult because English wasn't our first language. And unlike learning from childhood, when we got here, we were put into all the English as a second language class, trying to navigate through the whole just the early school years, as someone who is a foreigner, right? Or when we still had accents that made it very obvious that we weren't from here, and people would make fun of that.
While we focus on the refugees who resettled in the US, many also resettled in Canada, Italy, Australia, France, West Germany, and the United Kingdom. Several thousands were also sent back to Vietnam. The Vietnamese boat people broke barriers in history because they broke the international borders when resettling, and they broke the social borders by assimilating to the places where they settled, and they were able to overcome the language and the cultural barriers and establish a new legacy and a new land.